Emily is Away is a free-to-play Steam game created by Kyle Seeley, released in 2015. The game simulates an early 2000s instant messaging program running on Windows XP and follows the story of two students from their senior year of high school to their senior year of college. One run-through of the game is about 45 minutes long, but replaying this title is sure to follow after the first run. Replayability is definitely one of this game's greatest selling points. The art and menus in this game are inspired by, if not recreated from, Windows XP. This creates a navigation that feels unintuitive at times, but since this aesthetic is a large part of the game's experience, it really can't be avoided. The player's choice for their customizable icon also correlate with the trends from the settings of the game, from 2002 to 2006, creating a wholly immersive early 2000s experience. This interface feels less gimmicky as the game progresses and more sentimental towards the end of it. The narrative of Emily's Away is absolutely everything in this game. I'll avoid spoiling the ending of this game as much as I can, but for the sake of this game review, I'll have to give away the way choices in the game lead to the ending. The story in Emily's Away moves forward in a peculiar combination of free will and a predetermined path. Gameplay is followed through 5 different messaging conversations held once a year between the player and Emily, in which the player's messaging consists of 3 options to respond after Emily has messaged, which more or less amount to the range of player control in this game. Upon the user selecting one of 3 responses, the message is typed up on screen as the player gives keyboard input. Since it doesn't matter which buttons are pressed for the message to appear, button mashing typically ensues. The message may be altered slightly by the game from the selected option, or in the case of the endgame, the message may be drastically altered for dramatic effect. The amount of free will the player has in playing, from my experience, is hard to determine. Some actions seem inconsequential and are trivial at the time, but upon reconsideration seem critical. And yet some actions are labeled by the game as important while having effects impossible to decipher. In the end, however, the ending of this story is almost always the same, and ends up being the most interesting part of this game. The ending of this game is, well, heartbreaking. Like I said, I won't spoil it, but here are just a few images from the Steam community page of Emily's Away. The emotional attachment to this game is well done. I spent the game not terribly caring towards the characters, but near the end I found myself much more invested than I had anticipated, even if the game just lasted 45 minutes. After the ending of the first run of this game, it's almost as if the game mocks the player, with dozens of Easter egg unlockables, none of which I came remotely close to figuring out how to get, and a menu screen with the option to restart from any point in the game. This eventually turns the game into a bizarre combination of The Great Gatsby and Groundhog Day, all while working with a poor recreation of Windows XP. This game is worth playing. It's strange and it's wonderful, and it's reminiscent of so many stories. It captures this creator's love for the early 2000s and plays with ideas of fate, free will, and love. Emily's Away is not your run-of-the-mill story, and it's not your average video game either. It's something you should experience because it is worth experiencing.